John was tired. He had traveled across 5 planets just to find a place where rent was low and no one asked too many questions. He finally found it on planet Dravik. It wasn't beautiful, but it was quiet. And the alien landlady promised privacy. That was all he needed. The building was old and made of dull green stone. Its halls smelled like boiled fungus and smoke. The rooms were small but clean. And John didn't care about size. He just wanted sleep, peace, and maybe a hot shower. The landlady was an insect-like alien named Bruna. She had 6 eyes, 2 short antennae, and walked with a clicking sound. She didn't smile, but she gave him the key and said, "No noise, no fighting, and no heat weapons allowed." John nodded. Understood. Bruna didn't know much about humans. They were rare on this side of the galaxy. Most aliens thought humans were dangerous, wild, and unpredictable. But John looked quiet, calm, and weak. She didn't expect trouble. The first night was peaceful. John unpacked his bag, set up his datapad, and fell asleep to the soft hum of alien power lines. He dreamed of Earth-blue skies, real food, and long-forgotten laughter. But the dream didn't last. The next morning, John woke up early and walked to the shared sonic shower at the end of the hall. He didn't see anyone, so he wrapped a thin towel around his waist and made his way back to his room. Steam still rose from his skin, and he felt fresh for the first time in days. But fate didn't like peace. Bruna was coming down the hall, holding repair tools. A neighbor's water filter had burst again. She knocked on the wrong door John's. Dorrand, when he didn't answer, she used her master key. The door opened. John turned around. Bruna froze in the doorway. Her 6 eyes went wide. Her antennae shot straight up, and her mouth opened with a screeching sound that echoed across the building. "What is that monster between your legs?" "Human." John jumped in shock. "What?" "Hey, get out." But it was too late. Bruna's scream triggered panic. Doors opened. Curious alien neighbors peeked out. And everyone looked toward John's room. John grabbed his towel tighter. It's normal, I swear." Bruna fell back, stunned. That thing, it moved. John turned red, because I moved. "Stop looking." An alien from the floor below shouted, "Is the human hiding a parasite?" Another whispered, "It has teeth, maybe." Did anyone scan it? John slammed his door shut and locked it, heart pounding. His privacy was gone. And now half the building thought he was carrying a weapon or worse. Outside his door, the whispers grew louder. Some wanted to call biosecurity. Others wanted to see the monster for themselves. Bruna stood in the middle of it all, confused and embarrassed. She had never seen a human's reproductive organ before. In her species, such parts were internal, hidden. What she saw looked wild, dangerous, and too alive. Inside, John sat on the floor, hands over his face. Why does this always happen on alien worlds? He muttered. He had faced war, hunger, and loneliness. But nothing was worse than alien curiosity. Suddenly, his datapad buzzed. A message from an unknown source. "You've been flagged for biological examination by the Galactic Anatomy Council." John's eyes widened. Oh no, not again. He had tried to escape attention, but now, thanks to a screaming landlady and a badly timed towel, he was the center of galactic drama. Outside, Bruna stared at the locked door. She didn't mean to cause trouble, but deep inside, one question kept bothering her. What exactly was that thing? And why did it make her feel so strange inside? The next morning, the entire building felt different. Eyes watched John wherever he went. He only stepped out of his room for a moment to get nutrient paste from the dispenser. But it was like walking into a trap. An old alien couple from the 4th floor gasped when they saw him. The green one whispered to her partner, "That's the one with the monster." The other replied, "It lives between his legs." "They say," John sighed. "This is ridiculous." He returned to his room quickly. But even the hallway lights seemed brighter, like they were watching too. Inside, he shut the door, leaned against it, and groaned. His data pad kept pinging. New messages. 32 subject. Human anomaly sender, Galactic Curiosity Network. The messages were all asking the same thing. Is it true you carry a living tentacle creature? Can we examine it respectfully? Are you open for interviews about your ... condition? John turned the pad off. No, and absolutely not. Meanwhile, Bruna stood downstairs in the management office, staring at her wall screen. It showed a blurry image from the security camera, John in a towel, turning just as she had screamed. Her face flushed with color again. Why didn't I knock? Now, her inbox was full too. News drones wanted statements. Biology clubs wanted samples. And her landlord license was under review for causing biological panic in a mixed-species building. She hissed through her mandibles. I only screamed once. The worst part. Some aliens now thought she made it up just to get attention. Others believed she had seen something holy, or maybe cursed. And one alien worship group already printed out a tiny shrine in the shape of a guess. What? She deleted the image. Instantly. But the damage was spreading back in John's room. The building's maintenance bot beeped at the door. He didn't want to answer, but it insisted. Urgent delivery for human occupant. John opened the door carefully. A box floated in, glowing slightly. It opened on its own, revealing a small card and a scanner device. The card read, "We offer 20,000 credits for just one scan of the appendage. Strictly professional, no pain, no sharing." John stared. They want to pay me to scan my junk. Before he could even react, his datapad lit up again. Another message popped up. This one from someone important. Summons Galactic Anatomy Council, Level 9. Biochamber 7, you are required to report within 48 hours. Failure to comply will result in arrest. John dropped the pad on the bed. Of course. Now I'm being drafted into alien science class. He wasn't ready to leave Earth for this. He just wanted a job, a roof, and peace. But now he was becoming a legend or a freak show. Later that day, Bruna climbed up to John's room. She hesitated before knocking, her claws twitching nervously. When the door opened, John looked at her coldly. What now? Here to measure something too, he said. Bruna lowered her head. No, I came to apologize. John raised an eyebrow. Really? Bruna nodded slowly. I screamed. Because I was shocked, not because you did anything wrong. John didn't say anything. I had never seen a male human before, she added quietly. Not like that. John scratched his head. Well, now half the city knows more than they should. She looked ashamed. I didn't mean to make you a subject. There was silence. Then Bruna handed him a small blue chip. What's this? He asked. Privacy blocker. She replied, blocks scanners and biodrones for 20 meters. I ordered it fast. To help you. John looked at her, surprised. For the first time, she didn't seem like a nosy landlady. She looked sincere. Thanks, he said, voice softening. You might have just saved my life. But Bruna didn't smile. She looked worried. Something bigger is coming, she said. I've heard whispers. Not just scientists, collectors, smugglers, even nobles. Some of them want you. Not for study, but for ownership. John froze. What? Bruna stepped closer. You're a rare male. In some species, your kind is too valuable. If you're not careful, someone might try to claim you. John felt a chill run down his spine. So far, this planet had only been annoying. Now it was starting to feel dangerous, and somewhere, far away, in a dark chamber, a noble alien girl stared at a screen, watching him, smiling softly. 2 days passed. John didn't leave his room. He kept the privacy blocker active 24/7. and only 8 protein cubes and warm liquid meals that Bruna quietly slid under his door. Outside, the building still buzzed with whispers. But no one dared. Knock again not after Bruna placed a warning sign. Disturb the human, and you're evicted. But peace never lasts. Not for him. A message blinked on John's pad again. Final notice. You are required to appear before the Galactic Anatomy. Council today at 1600 hours. John groaned. I knew it. He didn't want to go. But skipping would mean arrest or worse. Forceful collection. Bruna walked him to the station silently. Her forearms folded tightly. Her eyes scanned the streets, watching for anyone who got too close. You don't trust them, John said. Bruna clicked low. I don't trust anyone who wants to study a person like an object. He nodded. Thanks for coming. The Anatomy Council's chamber was massive, shaped like a glowing egg. Strange. Machines floated through the air, scanning everyone without touching them. John saw at least 9 alien species waiting inside, some tall and furry. Some small and slimy, all curious. A floating orb greeted him. Human, welcome. Please enter the chamber. Remove all garments and relax. John blinked. Absolutely not. The orb paused. Partial examination. Then, he folded his arms. Fine, but I keep my pants on. The orb buzzed. Unacceptable. A tall, thin alien with a jellyfish-like head floated down, speaking in a calm voice. We need to understand your biology to ensure interspecies safety, John. Glared at him. You mean you want to look at my crotch and call it research? The jellyfish being didn't blink. Correct? Suddenly, a loud voice echoed through the chamber. Enough. A woman stepped forward, wearing royal robes made of silver threads and glowing feathers. Her skin was dark blue, her eyes bright gold, and her face calm and beautiful. Every alien in the room bowed. John didn't. Who are you? He asked. Annoyed and tired, she smiled softly. I am Lady Siniri of House Valthor. And you, human, are not a lab rat. Everyone looked shocked. Even the jellyfish guy stepped back. Siniri walked up to John slowly. You are the last known fertile human male on this side of the galaxy. If anyone should study you, it must be done with full honor, consent, and a little kindness. John narrowed his eyes. You make it sound romantic. She tilted her head. Maybe it is. In some cultures, your biology is more than science, it is sacred. And some would do anything to own it. Bruna stepped forward from the shadows, claws twitching. He belongs to no one. Siniri turned to her calmly. And you are? I'm his landlady, Bruna said quickly, and his protector now. A long silence followed. Then Siniri smiled. How loyal. That's rare these days. John looked between them, unsure what was going on to powerful alien women. Suddenly arguing over him like he was a treasure chest, he raised his hand. Hey, I'm still here, remember? The floating orb buzzed again. May we continue the scan now? John sighed. Fine, but nothing below the belt as the scanner passed over his body, showing bone structure, organ patterns, and strange glowing signals in his blood. The orb froze. Warning. It beeped. Unusual energy signature found. Something is changing. The whole room tensed. What do you mean? Bruna asked quickly. The orb spun. The human body is adapting to alien atmosphere at a speed 900% faster than expected. This is not normal. This is evolution. Everyone gasped. Siniri's eyes lit up with excitement. He's not just rare. He's a key. John took a step back. Key to what? She answered quietly, to hybrid survival. Before John could ask more, the lights suddenly went red. Alarms blared, and the chamber's doors locked shut. Security breach. The orb shouted, unknown vessel approaching the building. Bruna's claws came out. Someone's trying to take him, Saneri growled. It's too soon. They're moving faster than expected. John was pulled behind a shield as three cloaked figures appeared through a wall. One pointed at him. There. Take the breeder. Bruna leaped, slashing at the first attacker. Saneri raised her staff and blasted the second with blue fire. John ducked, heart racing. What the hell is going on? Bruna shouted back. You're not a tenant anymore, John. You're a target. John sat quietly in the back of the moving hovercar. Bruna drove fast, eyes locked on the glowing road ahead. Her claws gripped the steering panel tighter than usual. Neither of them had spoken for 5 minutes. The attack at the council chamber had changed everything. John was no longer just a tenant. He was now someone people wanted to steal, study, or worse, own. His body, his DNA suddenly valuable. Suddenly hunted. You okay? Bruna asked at last, voice low. John looked at her through tired eyes. Do I look okay? Bruna didn't answer. She took a sharp turn and the hovercar rose above the traffic. Heading toward the dark side of the city, they weren't going home. They were going into hiding when they landed. Bruna led him into an old storage tunnel. Under the city's edge, it was dusty, quiet, and empty. This place is off-grid, she said. They won't find you here, not easily. John sat on a crate and rubbed his face. I didn't ask for this, he said. I just wanted to live. Not become some rare space animal. Bruna sat beside him. Slowly, I know, she said. This is my fault. John turned, confused. Your fault? She nodded. If I hadn't screamed, if I hadn't called it a monster, maybe no one would have noticed. Her voice cracked slightly. I embarrassed you, exposed you. And now they won't leave you alone. John was quiet for a moment. Then he let out a short laugh. Yeah, well, at least you didn't try to kidnap me. Bruna looked away, her antennae twitching nervously. John studied her expression. She looked guilty, but also something else protective. You could have let them take me, he said softly. But you didn't. I should have stopped it sooner, she replied. I was scared, confused. Your body shocked me. It wasn't what I expected from a human. He nodded. We surprise people, I guess. Bruna looked at him again, her eyes softer now. There's more, John, she said. Your biology, it's waking up something ancient in some species. There are rumors of humans being more than just mates. They say your kind once helped balance bloodlines between collapsing empires. John frowned. So now I'm not just rare. I'm some sort of galactic fertility myth. Bruna didn't answer. She reached into her bag and pulled out a crystal. Glowing pale green. This is a birthline memory stone, she said. It belongs to my people. It tells the truth through blood connection. John hesitated. What happens if I touch it? It will show you what they want from you, she whispered, and why some might never stop chasing you. He took the stone and touched its surface. The crystal pulsed and then flashed bright suddenly. Visions poured into his mind. Ancient. Alien queens bending toward human men. Babies born glowing with strange symbols on their skin. Wars fought over a single human male. And in one vision, an insectoid woman. Like Bruna, protecting a human lover from an entire army. John gasped. And dropped the stone. The glow faded. That was real. He asked, breathless. Bruna nodded slowly. Long ago, but history erased those parts. Too dangerous, too emotional. John looked at her with wide eyes. That insect woman in the vision. Was she like you? Bruna's mandibles twitched slightly. She was one of my ancestors, she whispered. She died protecting the last human she ever loved. Silence filled the room again. Only the distant hum of the city could be heard above. John broke it. You said love. Bruna looked down. Then back at him. I don't know what this feeling is. John, I'm scared of it. But when they tried to take you, something inside me snapped. Like I'd rather burn the world than let them hurt you. John blinked, unsure how to respond. No one had ever said something like that to him, not on Earth, and definitely not in space. I'm just a guy, he whispered to them. Bruna said, you're a prize, but to me, you're the first thing I ever wanted to protect with my own claws. They sat there, closer now. No more words came. Only the sound of hearts beating from two very different species. Somewhere in the dark, something was changing between them, and in the far city above, a new alert was being sent across private channels. Target escaped. Last seen with insectoid female, offer doubled for live capture. 2 days passed. John stayed hidden in the underground room. Bruna brought him food, supplies, and sometimes just sat with him in silence. Things between them felt different now, closer, but complicated. They didn't talk about the vision again. They didn't talk about the word love either, but the air between them was no longer cold. It was warm, uncertain, and waiting. Then came the knock. Bruna stood, claws ready, but the door didn't open. Instead, a silver orb floated through the wall, humming gently. It projected a soft voice. Human John. I am Lady Cineri of House Valthor. I wish to speak with you. Privately, John blinked, the councilwoman. Bruna hissed. She followed us. The orb shone again, showing Cineri's elegant face. I come with no soldiers, no threats, she said. Only a gift and a choice. Bruna growled. Don't listen to her. She's dangerous. John looked at her, then at the orb. Let me hear her, he said. I'll be careful. Bruna stepped back, but her eyes never left the projection. Cineri's voice continued, calm and silky. You're not safe, John. You're being hunted by those who don't care about your will. But I do. John crossed his arms. So what do you want from me? Cineri smiled. I want to offer you a deal, protection, wealth, and a place of honor if you agree to join House Valthor. Bruna interrupted. You mean marry into your noble bloodline? Like a breeding contract? Cineri didn't deny it. Yes, she said. We are dying, our males are infertile. Our future fading. You could bring us back, give life to a 1,000-year legacy. John stepped back, shocked. You want me to father children for your people? Cineri looked straight at him, her golden eyes glowing. Yes, in return. You'll be treated like royalty. No more hiding, no more fear. You'll be safe. And wanted. Bruna's voice shook with rage. He is already wanted, Cineri glanced at her coldly. By you. A landlady with no title, no status, no army to guard him. Your care is emotional, not strategic. John looked between them. Trapped between two very different offers. One of protection and wealth. The other? Of loyalty and quiet care. He turned to Cineri. And if I say no? The noblewoman's voice didn't change. Then I will respect your decision. She said, but others will not. And they will keep coming. John stronger, faster, more brutal. The orb floated closer, releasing a small crystal into John's hand. Think about it, she said softly. This is a transport key if you ever choose safety. Just press it. The orb vanished, leaving only silence. Bruna turned to him, her body trembling slightly. Are you actually considering this? She asked. John didn't answer. He stared at the glowing crystal in his hand. I don't know, he said. I mean, I'd be safe, right? Bruna took a step forward, her eyes sharp. But at what cost? You'd become a tool, a royal breeder. You'd lose your freedom. John looked at her, confused and lost. I don't want to be hunted, Bruna. I'm not. A warrior, her voice softened. You don't have to be. You just have to trust me. I'll fight for you. John's voice cracked. Why? Why risk everything for me? Bruna lowered her head, because the more time I spend with you, the more I feel like I belong beside you. Not just as a protector, but as something more. John stared at her for a moment. He saw past her claws, her hard shell, her alien features. He saw someone who cared deeply. Someone who felt more human than most humans he had known. But before either could speak again, the power flickered, the walls shook, and a loud bang echoed from above. Bruna's head snapped up. They found us. John's heart jumped. Cineri. Bruna shook her head. No, this feels different. She grabbed a pulse weapon from her pack and pushed John behind her. Get ready to run, she said. I'll buy you time if I have to. But before she could move, a wall exploded inward. Figures in black armor stormed in mercenaries, with no badges, no voices, just masks and stun rods. One of them shouted, "Target confirmed, take the human alive." John backed away, holding the crystal key Cineri gave him. His finger hovered over the trigger. Bruna screamed, "Don't you dare. If you leave, they'll own you." But John hesitated, torn between two terrifying paths. One to vanish into royal safety and lose himself, the other to stay and fight with the one alien who called him hers. The room exploded with noise and smoke. John shouted. Bruna fired her weapon, but there were too many. One of the armored mercenaries threw a stun charge. Blue light flashed. John felt pain shoot through his chest. Then everything went dark. When he woke up, he wasn't on the ground anymore. He was lying inside a cold glass box, surrounded by shadows. His head throbbed, his hands were bound, and he was wearing a thin silver tunic. The crystal Cineri gave him was gone. He sat up, breathing hard. Bruna. No one answered. Outside the glass, alien faces appeared, some with tentacles, others with glowing eyes. They stared at him like he was an object in a museum. A robotic voice echoed through the chamber. Lot number 47, human male, Earth origin, unmodified. High reproductive potential. John froze. What is this place? A small creature in a black robe stepped forward and tapped the glass. You're in the vault market, it said, where only the rarest life forms are sold. John's stomach turned. You're selling me? The creature grinned. You're lucky human. Most here are clones or hybrids. But you? You're real. You're going to make someone very rich. He slammed his fists against the glass. Let me out. A laser barrier pushed him back gently. No damage to the product, the voice warned. Outside, a crowd of alien nobles and black market buyers began to gather. Some held data pads. Others carried glowing credits or trade chips. They whispered. Numbers, bids. One tall alien female licked her lips. He'll go well with my breeding estate. Another said. I'll offer 5,000 units and a moon permit. A third voice sneered. 6,000 and a full-time guardian. John's heart raced. They're bidding on me like I'm livestock. A different voice, cold and deep, came from the back of the room. 10,000 units and no questions asked. Everyone turned. It was a noble wearing a mask of gold and black. Beside him stood two guards holding shock sticks. John recognized that voice. He had heard it on the council floor. One of the nobles who had left early, not to protect him, but to claim him. Suddenly, the bidding stopped. No one dared go higher. The auctioneer stepped forward. Sold. Lot number 47 now belongs to Lord Varnox of Zerith Prime. John backed away as the glass case opened. Two armored hands reached for him. No, he shouted, kicking and struggling. I'm not property. But the guards grabbed him and locked magnetic cuffs on his wrists. They dragged him down a hallway lined with screaming cages, filled with other rare species, trapped, each helpless. Put him in the breeder vault, Varnox ordered. Prepare for transport. Just then, boom. An explosion rocked the entire chamber. Smoke burst through the ceiling, and armed figures dropped from above blasters glowing red. One of the mercs screamed, "We're under attack." From the smoke, a loud voice echoed, "Let him go now." John's heart jumped. Bruna, she appeared like a storm armor strapped across her chest, claws glowing with shock heat, eyes blazing with fire. Behind her came 3 insectoid fighters from her hive, all armored and fast. They moved like lightning, striking down guards one by one. John ducked as blaster fire zipped over his head. Bruna leaped across the room and slammed into the 2 guards, dragging him. Her claws ripped through their armor like paper. She pulled John behind her, shielding him with her body. "I told you," she said, voice shaking with rage. "No one takes what's mine." John could barely breathe, I thought. "I lost you," she growled. "I tracked your energy pattern. I'd tear the whole galaxy apart if I had to." Varnock stepped forward, pulling a massive weapon from his side. "You dare interfere in noble purchase," he hissed. Bruna didn't flinch. He didn't agree. "He's not for sale." Varnox fired. But Bruna was faster. She jumped, twisted in midair, and slashed the weapon from his hand. Her blade struck his shoulder, and he dropped to his knees. Stunned and bleeding, "Stay down," she hissed, "or I come back for the other arm." The chamber alarms rang louder, signaling incoming patrols. Bruna grabbed John's hand. Time to run. "I can't fight the whole system yet." They sprinted through the tunnel, her hive guards clearing the way at the far end. A stolen transport ship waited, engine humming, doors open. Inside, John collapsed into the seat. Shaking, Bruna took the controls, her breath heavy, as they lifted off. He looked at her, eyes wide. "You saved me again," he said softly. "Why?" She didn't look at him, but her voice was low and real. "Because the galaxy sees you as a prize, but I see you as a person. And maybe more." John stared at her, and deep inside, something new stirred, something human and warm. Something that said he wasn't alone anymore. The stolen ship flew fast through the edge of space. John sat near the back, strapped into a seat, trying to calm his heart. Bruna stood at the controls, hands steady, eyes locked on the star map. Her armor was cracked, her body bruised, but she looked stronger than ever. Neither of them spoke for a while. Only the hum of the ship filled the silence. "Where are we going?" John asked at last. Bruna didn't turn. "Somewhere safe. Somewhere the council and the nobles won't reach. An old hive, world hidden, abandoned, but perfect for hiding." John leaned back, still shaken. "They almost sold me," he said quietly, like I was an object. Bruna's claws tightened on the controls. "I should have never let you leave the room alone." "You didn't know," he replied. "No one did." She finally turned to him, her antennae lowered. "But I should have, when Siniri made that offer. I should have taken you and run. Instead, I gave you space, hoping you'd choose me freely." John looked at her with tired eyes. "You're not like them, Bruna," he said. "That's why I didn't use the crystal key. I had it in my hand, ready to escape, but I didn't press it." Bruna stared at him, surprised. "You didn't?" He nodded. "I wanted to stay with you because you never treated me like a thing. You saw me just as me." Her eyes softened, her voice almost trembling. "I thought you'd choose her. She had power, gold, safety, everything I don't have." John stood up slowly, walking toward her. He stopped just inches away. "I don't need a palace. I need someone who sees me as a person. You did that when you screamed, when you fought, and even when you regretted it." Bruna looked away, ashamed. "I was foolish back then, scared of what I saw, scared of how you made me feel." John touched her arm gently. "You still scared now?" She looked at him, eyes locked. "No," she whispered. "I'm angry. I'm angry they dared touch you. Angry they thought you belonged to them." John smiled. "Then be angry for me. Just don't leave me." She reached out and pulled him into a hug, tight, warm, real. Her armor pressed against his chest, her breath close to his ear. "I will never leave you again," she said, "not unless you ask me to." Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped. A signal flashed on the console. "Incoming transmission, priority alert." Bruna tapped the screen. A hologram of Siniri appeared. "Flickering and serious, you're still alive," the noblewoman said. "Impressive," Bruna growled. "Say what you came to say, noble Siniri." "Didn't smile? I've convinced the council to drop the bounty on the human. You made too much noise, too many systems are watching now." John stepped forward. "So I'm free." Siniri nodded slowly. "No one can legally claim you now, but stay quiet, stay hidden, because others won't care about the law." Bruna narrowed her eyes. "Why help us now?" Siniri looked directly at John. "Because I saw something in you that reminded me of a past my people forgot. You're more than just a mature, a mirror, a reminder of what we once valued." The signal ended. Silence returned. Bruna sat down in the pilot chair, breathing deeply. "So, it's over." John looked out the window at the stars. "Not over, but at least we can breathe." Later, the ship landed on a quiet green moon, full of thick trees, fresh air, and glowing lakes. Bruna led John into an old stone hive, covered in moss but still standing strong. It became their home. Simple, hidden, safe. Weeks passed. No more attacks, no more tracking drones, only quiet days. Shared meals, slow walks, and soft laughter between two beings who once thought they were alone. In the universe, one evening, as they sat by a fire under the stars, John looked at Bruna and said, "You know, I think I belong here." She looked at him, curious, in the hive. He shook his head, smiling. "No, I mean, next to you." Bruna leaned closer, her claws brushing his hand gently. "You're not just a tenant anymore, John," she said. Softly, "You're my mate, chosen not by blood or contract, but by heart." He smiled. "And you're not just my landlady anymore. You're the reason I'm still free, still human, and still alive." They sat there, wrapped in quiet warmth. No longer hiding, no longer hunted. Just a human and an alien, both scarred, both strong, both learning what it meant to belong together.